Hey, it is springtime here in the desert. I just looked out my window and I see leaves popping on my tree. But what does that mean? Well, that means that those folks with sensitive noses may start feeling some pressure of asthma and hay fever, that kind of stuff. But what does it mean to your desert home inside? Well, normally we look out in this blue sky. Sometimes it gets a little dusty. Springtime sometimes brings a wind. Well, what does that do to our indoor air? We want to talk to our indoor quality expert from Anthem. His name is Mike Solomon. Let's welcome him in today. Good morning, Mike. How you doing today?
Very good. Yourself?
Good. Hey, I'm looking forward to finding out, what is it about air quality inside? Is it good? Sometimes it's windy outside. We say shut the windows, don't let the wind inside and the dust. But is everything we breathe as safe as it seems? That's the question for you today.
Yeah. Well, we live in a desert, and it's a unique area, so we have some unique things that we deal with in order to get healthy indoor air quality out here. So yeah, we're going to talk today about different things that we can do and what to look out for and how to prepare your house and for better air quality out here.
Fantastic. Well, I have my notepad ready to go and the paper and my pen. But what I want to do first is I want to let those folks know that are joining us to please put any questions in the comments that might come up as Mike is discussing about air quality. And if you're watching this on a replay, make sure to put your question in the comment section and someone from Anthem or Mike will get back to you on that. With that, Mike, I'm going to turn it over to you. Have a great show.
All right. Thank you very much. So we live in a desert out here in the Coachella Valley and Riverside areas. So our air quality out here is kind of unique in that we're pretty low humidity out here. It's pretty arid, dry place to live. And we want to make sure that we still have a healthy indoor air at our homes and places of business. So with the low humidity, oftentimes our indoor air is actually below the desired humidity level. Healthy indoor air is probably about 40 to 60% humidity levels. That's the healthy indoor air. That's the level where bacteria, mold, viruses, all that type of stuff tend to not thrive. So if you're below 40% or above 60%, those areas oftentimes are areas where you end up with mold problems, where you end up with bacteria, allergens, things like that really kind of take over your home and family and your health. So it's best to try to keep your house there. We also have a lot of people who leave for the summertime. So when they leave for the summertime, their homes are a lot of times left unattended, and they either turn their air conditioner off or it's set at a pretty high temperature, just mildly. So when they leave, there's no one at that home who's cooking, who's breathing, who's bringing in moisture into their homes, taking showers, things like that tend to help raise the level in your house. So when that happens, your drains, a lot of times there's what's called a P-trap. The P-trap is an area where if you look under your sink, you'll notice it kind of loops down before it goes back up. Well, that loop down is called a P-trap, and water sits there. And what that water does in that trap is it stops the gases from your sewer from coming back up through your drain. Well, when you leave for the summer and you're not turning that sink on and turning that shower on, that water level tends to start to dry up. It's a dry house and water will evaporate. Now those gases can come back into the house, and sometimes for those people who go away for long periods of time, they come back and they have a funky smell in their house. Well, a lot of that is because those P-traps have dried up, and now they have basically sewer gases have entered into the home, very unhealthy air quality in there, and they need to air out their home when they first open. Well, we have a solution for them that we can help with by summarizing their homes so that we can get them ready so they can leave and know that their house is going to be healthy indoor air when they arrive back home. So they can call for that, and we can go over a program for them. We also have a lot of dust and allergens out here in the desert. Jeff mentioned earlier about the trees are blooming, it's springtime. Well, we get a lot of stuff in our air. Those trees are letting allergens out. We also end up doing some reseeding out here, where the gardeners will cut the grass pretty low, and you end up with all that stuff getting in there. And so people like me who suffer from allergies, I go crazy in the springtime. I mean, I get the headaches, the nose, coughing, etc. And I'm dealing a little bit with it right now, but trying to keep our indoor air healthy definitely helps mitigate those allergens. So you don't want those allergens inside your home. And so we want to make sure that we do a couple of things. You're inside your house, your air conditioner is probably your biggest air filter. So we don't need our air conditioner running all the time, because right now we have 73, 74 degree highs in our days, and some days, and sometimes it goes up to, I think, 80. So today may be in the 80s, but it's pretty nice. We don't need our heaters on. We don't need our air conditioners on. So we're missing out on the filtration of that air in our homes. Well, you could turn your air conditioner on to fan only mode, and it basically just turns the fan on to circulate that air, to run that air through that filter, to make sure that we're pulling out any of that allergens, viruses, bacteria, dust, etc., out of our indoor air. So there's a little trick you can do to tell your air conditioner system to filter my air, but don't run my air conditioner, don't run my heater, because it's just too nice. I don't need to change the temperature in my house. I just want healthier indoor air. When you do that, make sure you have a clean filter in your system. So outdoor pollutants. We have some outdoor pollutants out here in the desert. I went over some of them. We get a lot of dust storms. And these dust storms, because we live in a desert, pick up that dust in the air, and our air quality out here, especially in the Coachella Valley, but Riverside also, can become very poor. In some cases out here, it's almost like a whiteout for the snowbirds out there, where the snow's so thick or that you can't see through it. We get the similar thing, where the dust is so thick that you can't see through it. You're driving really slow down the freeway because you can't see more than 10 feet in front of your car. So that dust out there is really just terrible to breathe. Our air quality is bad. And they issue warnings to say, hey, stay indoors. Well, if you stay indoors and your house is leaky and dust is getting in there, how much cleaner is the indoor of your house compared to the outdoors? Probably not much. So we want to take that indoor air quality and make sure that we filter that air through that filter, and try to remove some of that pollutants. There's also pollutants inside your home also. So if you think about it, you're in the mornings or when you're cleaning your house, you're using products. Those products are aerosol sprays, hair products, all sorts of things that you're spraying in your home, trying to clean a surface, but all those particles are still going back into the air. And then your furniture and your building materials also have some off gassing too that gets into your air. So you want to kind of be able to filter that stuff out of your air, keeping your indoor air clean from both the outside contaminants and the inside contaminants. Other things, mold and mildew. We don't have as much mold and mildew as say a wetter climate area, but we do deal with it. Remember, we have areas in our home that are wet areas. You got bathrooms, kitchens, laundry rooms. These areas would be considered wet areas because we're putting a lot of moisture inside those specific rooms. So those rooms, we want to make sure we have some ventilation in there. We got to be able to get that moisture when we take our showers, when we're doing our laundry, etc., and get that out of that room as quickly as possible to drop that humidity level in that room down to that healthy level. So by doing that, you want to have some sort of exhaust fans that you can run to pull that moisture out, keeping the door open to pull that moisture out. If it's a really clean, beautiful day like it is today, we don't have much dust in the air. We got some rain recently that settled the dust in our desert, and hasn't been a lot of wind to pick anything up. You may want to open a window in those areas, let some fresh air in, and also pull that moisture out of that room as quickly as possible. That'll prevent mold and growth in that area. So if you're looking around your shower edges and areas in those, you may see darker areas. That is some mold that's growing in there, and you can take care of that with some bleach and other products. But again, once you put that stuff in there, you want to air it out to clean out that VOCs, or volatile organic compounds. The other thing is health impacts on your personal health. I mentioned earlier, I deal with allergies. That's just something I've dealt with. And I also got sick earlier in the year, which a lot of people have this year. It just seems to be going around. Well, if you keep your indoor air healthy, it's going to promote and help you stay healthy and get healthy when you do pick up a virus or something like that, because it's going to filter that out, and it's going to keep the other people in your house healthy also, so that they hopefully don't catch what you brought in or what they brought in or something like that. So these things can cause respiratory issues, allergy issues, headaches, drowsiness. I mean, poor indoor air quality leads to a host of problems that you have with your own personal health. Which brings us back to the air conditioner system. The air conditioner system is your biggest way to remove these allergens and other things from your system. You want to make sure that you change your filter often. You want to make sure that you also get regular maintenances to make sure your system is running properly, it's clean, your ducts are clean, so the air flowing through your whole system is really healthy air. We can also add certain air purifiers to your air conditioner system, which we can use ionizers, UV lights, all sorts of things, larger filtrations that have better, what's called a MERV value. It's a better filtration, gets smaller particles out. So we can add those things, but you want to make sure you do it properly. If you add a high MERV to a regular system, you may be basically starving your air conditioner for air, which could create other problems. But there are ways to do it properly, and we can help out with that. But the UV, the ionizers, things like that, what those do is basically it kills viruses, it deactivates the bacteria and viruses, it takes those tiny particles, dust particles in your air, and it clumps them together so they fall out of the air, they can't pass through the filters, and it removes those particles that you can't see but you're breathing out of your air. So they're really nice systems. Helps us smell around the house oftentimes, things like that. So make sure you get a air conditioning maintenance, change your filter often. And if you want to really get healthy indoor air, take a look at some of those UV lights, ionizers, those types of things, so that we can make sure your indoor air is really the right area to be. Natural ventilation. So natural ventilation is great when it's mild outside and it's just a perfect day. You want to open your windows, keep some doors open as long as there's not dust, things like that. That when the outdoor air is good quality, you want to bring some of that in to cool your house off and have that natural ventilation so that you can get the flow between the two. But when the air outside's not good, you want to make sure that you're able to seal your house. So by taking a look at your doors, when the wind blows out here and we have dust in our air, if you go look around your windowsill, or your doors and you see dust around those doors and windowsills, that's a sign that they're not sealed properly. You want a very tight seal around it. So you want to be in control when I open those windows, when I open those doors. If your house doesn't have a tight seal, you're not in control of that. The air is still getting in and it's bringing that dust, allergens, and pollutants into your home through those little gaps in your windows and doors. You can go through and get little sealers to seal those areas and make sure that you're in control of when you want ventilation into your home. The air purifier technologies, like I mentioned, you got the HEPA filters, the ionizers, the UV lights, things like that. Awesome technologies that you can add to your air conditioner system. And when you have those on, great idea that when you're not using your air conditioner or your furnace, turn that fan on. Let those items, those filters, the lights, the ionizers, etc., let them do the work they need to filter your air, even when you're not trying to change the temperature through a heater or air conditioner system. So, and then education and awareness. Just be aware of your air quality outside. Be aware of the products you use inside your home, and be aware of what you can do to make sure that your house has healthy indoor air at all times. So that's what I have for you today on our desert and indoor air quality for the dry areas that we live. And I hope you take that information. If you have any questions, put it in the comments, give us a call. We can help you out to make sure that you have healthy indoor air.
Mike, we did have just a couple of questions of follow up. One is, how often should we change our filters? You said change them often, but what does that really mean?
So changing your filters often kind of depends on what filters you have. So if you have the standard, they're about 1-inch filters. I call them monthly filters. But those should be changed out probably somewhere between 1 to 3 months. Every 1 to 3 months, you should be changing those out. After we have a dust storm or something like that, where they're kind of working overtime, you may want to open that up. And if they start to look that dingy gray or brown, change them out. They're not expensive, and it helps your air conditioner run more efficient, your heater run more efficient, and most importantly, your air in your house help stay healthier. Other filters that are larger filters, those could probably go about somewhere between 3 to 6 months. Some can go up to a year, just depending on how healthy and clean your indoor air is. But just take a look at them at least every 3 months, I would say. Take a look and make sure.
Fantastic. And the other question is, you talked about having some kind of filtration system. Is that added to your current air conditioning system, so it's affecting all the air coming through the home? And is that something? I know every home is different. The person asked, is that something that can be retrofitted to their existing system?
Yes, so they are add-on items, and they can be added to every air conditioner or heater system. And what it is, and I wish I brought one with me, but they basically they wire right into your air conditioner system. They plug into your furnace or a plenum or something like that, which is a part of your air conditioner system that the air blows through. And these things have either a light, or they send out ions, things like that, so that as the air passes through, it's being hit by those light particles in the UV light, or the ionizer hit by those ion particles, and it deactivates and kills viruses, bacteria, things like that. It also, in the ionizer situation, it actually positively and negatively in different parts of your system charges those dust particles, which positive and negative attract. They clump together, become larger particles, and fall out of your air or get trapped into your filter.
With that, the question also came up is, if we add that filter that you just described in line, then does that help if let's say we had our duct cleaned, does that help that life expectancy of before we have to clean our ducts again? Does that extend that?
Oh yeah. So if you change out your filter often and make sure it's changed and clean, excuse me, if you make sure it's changed and clean, then what that's going to do is it's going to stop the dust from actually entering into your duct system and your coil, which is another part of your air conditioner system that can easily get clogged. It'll stop that dust from entering there. And a lot of times, once it enters your coil or your ducts, it kind of gets attracted to the sides of the walls of your system. So your ducts get really dirty around the edges, starts to pick up that dust and allergens, molds, things like that. And once that gets in there, every time your air conditioner kicks on, a little layer may blow off, some goes through, etc. We recommend duct cleaning probably every 3 to 5 years. But if you change your filter often, then we're going to look at those ducts and go, your ducts are clean, and less likely that we're going to recommend a duct cleaning or a duct replacement or coil replacement.
Fantastic. And the final question, Mike, I know Anthem is services many areas. Could you tell us exactly, because I know you do cooling, heating, and plumbing. Give us an idea of the areas you service and what kind of services you offer.
So we service the Coachella Valley. That's everything from Coachella to Palm Springs. And then we actually go to the high desert area, which would be Moronga Valley, Yucca Valley. We do go out to 29 Palms on occasion, so we go all the way out there. And then we have a Riverside office and team that works specifically in Riverside, and they take care of everything from Banning, Beaumont, out to Corona, Riverside. We even go down to Temecula, Hemet, Murrieta, everything in between out there. And that's a specific team of guys that actually live in that area and work in that area out of our Riverside office.
It's fantastic. Well, Mike, I really appreciate it. And for those of you that are curious, hey, on the screen, it talks about a seasonal maintenance plan. Mike offers that for $14.95 a month. And that offers, maybe explain exactly what that offers, Mike.
Yeah, so our maintenance plan at $14.95 a month per system, what we offer is we do a spring and a fall maintenance. It's a full maintenance, not just a tune-up where they just wash down the outside and everything else. We open up your system, clean everything out. We change out your filters, so we give you new filters in the spring and the fall. But our maintenance also includes a plumbing service. So the plumbing service is your water heater flush, which is recommended to do once a year. So we flush your water heater, we check all your aerators on your sinks, clean them out. If you have calcium buildup on certain areas, we'll clean that out. Make sure that we tighten everything, all your pipes down so that they're tight. No leaks. We check for leaks to make sure that your system, your plumbing system, is draining properly, flowing properly. Make sure your regulator is working properly so that we don't have too high of water pressure that could cause pipes to burst or fixtures to fail prematurely. So.
Mike, this is great. If you're out there and you're thinking, "Hey, I'm leaving for the summer," Mike mentioned a summarization. Summarize, is that a new word? Is that one you made up there? I like that.
Yeah, we winterize for our swamp coolers and things like that. So we get ready for winter when we get cooler weather. And so this is kind of, I guess, a new word based on that. Summarize. We're going to summarize your homes, especially for those snowbirds who leave for long periods of time, to make sure when you come back, you have healthy indoor air. And that's mostly done through our plumbing side.
I like that. Well, reach out to Anthem. The number's on the screen. It's 760-895-2621. That's 760-895-2621. Tell them you heard about Summarize on the show and that you want to get your home taken care of or get on that seasonal maintenance plan, which does include the plumbing checkup, which is incredible. Mike, as always, we really appreciate all that you do for the folks that you service here in the Valley and also in Riverside area. And we look at you next week.
Thank you. I appreciate helping everybody out and look forward to talking to you next week.